Kept ya waiting, huh? Well, looking at the low view counts, maybe not. Still, this was something that had been left unfinished, and I don't like leaving things undone. After this, I also still need to do a playthrough on the Miles Morales game, and do an abridged recap review on that game too, before the true sequel to the 2018 Spider-Man game comes out sometime next year. Hopefully around the same time when the PS5 I have pre-ordered for myself gets delivered, aka sometime in July. However, if you still remember for the main game's abridged recap, Miles Morales was never bitten by the Oscorp recreated spider in my version of the story, so you might be wondering how I will be able to cover that game story. Well, the answer to that question will be answered at the end of this recap, and it will make sense to most comic book readers. So, previously on Spider-Man, the City That Never Sleeps DLC. Spider-Man and his work wife Yuri Watanabe went up against Hammerhead, who had stolen all of Silver Sable's weapons that she had Joe Biden back in New York. However, Hammerhead had managed to get into Yuri's head and managed to ruin her perfectly functional work marriage with Spider-Man, from whom Silver Sable had stolen a kiss back during the events of the main game. The final DLC episode opens, with Hammerhead having escaped from custody by corrupted officers in his pocket, and Yuri is now put on an administrative leave. Between supporting his work wife in what must be a stressful time, Spider-Man works to hunt down the at-large again Hammerhead by going after his Sable-tech armed men. And speaking of Silver Sable, now she has realized that she left her weapons behind in New York and is back now to reclaim them, while also confronting Spider-Man about him playing with her emotions by not telling her that he was married after she kissed him. When Hammerhead's men then start to run away, Silver Sable decides to stop acting like an overacting tsundere and goes back to not being like Joe Biden. Catching up to Silver Sable's hunt on Hammerhead's men on their trucks and while protecting Sable from their drones, I ran into this glitch that was apparently reported to be in the game last month and had not been patched yet. Eventually, Spider-Man catches up with Sable and manages to again use common sense to talk her into working with him, while also letting her know that he is in a committed relationship with someone else. Silver Sable appreciates Spider-Man's honesty and agrees on a team-up by giving him her contact information before they split up to look for more clues. Then, while trying to buy something nice to Yuri to support her while waiting for her to get her job back, Peter stumbles across Hammerhead's men and decides to shadow them in case they might know anything valuable. They do, and Peter follows the new intel as Spider-Man, with Silver Sable following him to learn that Hammerhead wants to do a sit-down with Sable. Or to be more precise, Hammerhead wants to give them both a strong bear hug with his new Deus Ex cyborg body. This would be the end for them both. But then someone dressed as the deceased Black Cat shows up to break the bear hug and releases just Spider-Man from it. As the hug was happening on Silver Sable's stealth jet, this causes it to go off balance and she falls from the air along with the Deus Ex Hammerhead. While Hammerhead takes Silver Sable captive with him, Spider-Man confronts his rescuer, who is revealed not to be the deceased Felicia Hardy, but rather her long-lost twin sister, Felicity Hardy. She gives Spider-Man her sister's stolen USB drives from episode 1, and then leaves to go make a name for herself as either Black Cat 2 or as the Night Cat. Anyway, thanks to Felicity's provided USB intel, Spider-Man is now able to map out all of Hammerhead's black sites in New York, and luckily he manages to find Silver Sable in one of them. Spider-Man helps her rescue herself, and then they discover from Hammerhead's medical records that
metal plate in his head.
Carbon steel.
Super strong, pretty sensitive to
Heat.
Ouch! Doesn't that hurt?
This is pure adamantium. No damage, no foul.
Anyway, now that they both know that Hammerhead's former strong point is now his weakest point, Silver Sable says that she is going to upgrade her stealth yet to hit it harder. leaving Spider-Man to notice all the missed text messages he has been getting from Yuri. Text messages that Spider-Man missed when he was distracted from making time for his work wife, and his absence from being there by her side to support her, gave Yuri all the time she needed to... Okay, Yuri has gone and built the most challenging form of a Dear John letter, which Spider-Man has to piece together from 9 separate dead drops. After what happened at the end of episode 2, Yuri got the taste for blood, and she can no longer work in the occupation where she is married with Spider-Man.
Goodbye, Spider-Man.
Yuri! What am I gonna do?
Saddened, but still focused in what he is supposed to do, Spider-Man throws himself back into his work in stopping Hammerhead and regroups with Silver Sable. And he also lets her know that
I'm single again!
And then the final fight against the Deus Ex Hammerhead, Lord on board Silver Sable's stealth ship, boils down to Spider-Man 1. Keep throwing Sable's bombs at Hammerhead to confuse him. 2. Keep Hammerhead in place for Silver Sable to do enough headshots to him, and when that has been done enough times that Hammerhead signals his loss with a Terminator impression, Silver Sable asks again about that thing if Spider-Man is really single now, showing her his Dear John letter. Sable drops her tsundere front and reminds Spider-Man that now that they have each other's phone numbers, they should call each other more from now on and see where that goes. Then, while giving Spider-Man a lift back to Manhattan, Sable gives him another one of these as a farewell present, and that is how the DLC totally ends. Meanwhile, in a parallel universe. Okay, I'm gonna reframe this as a... Meanwhile, in a parallel universe.